Well, Mother's Day is just around the corner, and so I thought I'd make a special dessert, actually one of my very favorites. This is a recipe that I made originally in June of 2019, and it was the first recipe that I did in French. In fact, at the time, I wasn't really sure how to make an English and a French version of a video, so I didn't do an English version. So this is really the English version of that video for what in French is called pudding renversé au bleuet, or in nice English, blueberry upside down cake. This is a keto version. It has no sugar, it has no gluten, and of course I'm going to provide the macros. In fact, speaking of which, let's just get down to that. Now, for the whole recipe, and this makes 9 portions, the whole recipe comes down to 2,216.5 calories, 58.5 grams of net carbs, 60 grams of protein, and 173 grams of fat per portion. And as I said, this makes 9 portions, but you can cut it up into any number of portions you like. Comes down to this: 246.3 calories, 6.5 grams of net carbs, 6.9 grams of protein, and 19.3 grams of fat. Really not bad for a really nice dessert, and I think what you're going to find is that everyone in the family will enjoy this dessert. Most of them won't even guess that it's sugar-free and gluten-free. This is a pretty easy recipe, and I think you're really going to like it. So let's go on into the kitchen. First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 175 Celsius. Here I've got an 8x8 glass dish. You can use whatever kind of cake pan you like. And here I've got about a tablespoon of butter in it. And I'm just going to grease this up really well before we get started. And voila. Let's set this aside while we prepare the topping. In this bowl I have 2 cups, that's 380 grams of blueberries. These are wild blueberries. They were frozen, but I've thawed them thoroughly. You can use fresh, of course, but if you do use frozen, make sure you thaw them either in the microwave or on the countertop for a couple of hours before you get started. If you use blueberries that are frozen solid, your cake won't bake evenly. To this, I'm going to add some sweetener. Here I've got 3 tablespoons of powdered erythritol. Use whatever sweetener you like in whatever quantity you like. Do this to taste. We're also going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Stir it up. And now we're going to add in the zest and the juice of 1 lemon. Here, as you can see, I've already taken the zest off, and I'm just going to add that in. And there we go with the juice. Oh, got a little seed in there, get that out. This mixture, we're going to put it in our prepared baking dish. And then just spread it out in a nice even layer. Now let's prepare the cake part. As in most recipes of this type, I like to mix together the dry ingredients first. This starts off with 3/4 cup, that's 3 ounces or 84 grams of coconut flour. To that, I'm going to add 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt. I'm going to mix these up quickly with a whisk and set them aside. Now for the liquid ingredients. In this bowl I've got 6 ounces, that's 168 grams of softened cream cheese. To it I'm going to add 6 tablespoons, that's 3 ounces or 84 grams of softened butter. To this, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons, that's 2 ounces or 56 grams of powdered erythritol. Again, sweeten this to taste. And I'm going to cream them together to incorporate them really well. Hey, you like my cordless KitchenAid mixer? I'll put a link in the description so you can find the very same one on Amazon.com. And I think that's pretty good right there. Scrape it down a little bit. To this, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and 6 eggs. And I'm going to combine them using this hand mixer. You can do this by hand, of course. What we want here is a relatively smooth mixture, but if there are a few lumps, don't worry about it too much. Let's add in the dry ingredients now. And that's all there is to it. Next, we simply pour the cake mixture over the blueberries. We're going to spread this out into a more or less even layer, just like that. Now this is ready to go into our 350 degree Fahrenheit or 175 degree centigrade oven for about 50 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out clean. There's the timer. And now here it is, piping hot out of the oven. Doesn't that look great? Let's give it a quick check for doneness. Here I'm going to just insert a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, it's done. There we go, perfect. Now the next step is a little tricky, but if you just believe it's going to work, it's going to work. You want to do it fairly rapidly with a little bit of confidence. What we're going to do is we're going to invert the cake. First, I'm going to put my platter on top, just like that. And there you have it. Now, what you're going to notice is that some of the berries stick to the pan. It's not a problem. We're just going to scrape them out of there and spread them out on top. Here, I'll take the cake plate off. It's really nice. And here, we'll just get these remaining berries out of the pan and onto the cake. Really, no big deal, right? Don't you think it's about time to get a taste of this? You can serve this hot right out of the oven, just like this. It's delicious. It's also good cold, and it's good at room temperature, of course, too. I get 9 generous portions out of this. And there we have it. And just check this out. Look at how pretty that cake is underneath there. Perfectly done. It's probably pretty good, I'm thinking now. Let's see. Oh yeah, absolutely delicious. It's really nice and moist and light. For me, there's very little difference here between this cake and the original cake that's made with sugar and gluten and the whole thing. This is really very good. Hey, listen, before you go, don't forget to like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. Helps my channel grow, and it helps you find my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell. Thanks so much for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking, huh? We'll catch you next time.